Hi everyone, I'm Vanessa, and today we'll be diving into the Dairy Management Supply System, or DSM for short. You might have heard of the DSM from recent news of Bill C-282 passing its second vote to protect the DSM. The controversy over the DSM system isn't a new issue and has been around since its inception in 1972. Many sources have even called it a legalized price cartel, but why? And does it work in favor for farmers and citizens? In essence, the DSM system is a part of Canada's agricultural policy framework and is managed by the Canadian Dairy Commission. The goal of the system is to regulate our dairy market by utilizing a quota system, where farmers are guaranteed a minimum price for their milk. Dairy producers pay a fee for quota to produce a determined amount per month, and in the case of overproduction, must dump excess product and accurately monitor and adjust their farming practices to avoid this. So, is the system wasteful? And is this policy a form of rent-seeking behavior that results in deadweight loss? I brought in a local farmer, Cameron Powell, to answer some questions. All right, so statistics show that Canadians pay an average of 30% more for their dairy products than our American counterparts. Why is that?
Yeah, so one of the consequences of the quota system is that dairy supply cannot rapidly increase to fill all demand, and this does raise the average price of dairy products. It's also been argued that the lack of competition can lead to higher costs of production than would be seen in an otherwise competitive market. There are, however, justifications for this higher price. While a competitive market typically lowers prices for consumers, it also leads to extremely tight or non-existent profit margins for producers, especially in agricultural businesses. American dairy producers are entirely reliant on government subsidies to stay afloat, and the stress of a boom and bust agricultural business when the free market has led to financial hardship and exit from almost all small to medium competitors.
Speaking of American dairy producers, why are Canadian dairy farmers spending so much on lobbying to prevent the increase of American imports? Does this rent-seeking behavior really benefit consumers?
Again, it comes down to protecting the livelihood of farmers mostly. Canadian dairy just costs more to produce. And while some of that cost does come from funding economic interest groups, which is rent-seeking behavior, other Canadian specific costs are a result of quality, safety, and sustainability regulations imposed by our government. Priced into that 30% markup is the guarantee that all Canadian dairy is held to a very high quality standards and contains zero antibiotic residues or other contaminants. Also priced in is the sustainability of the business. Fair trade coffee, for example, costs 40% more than the market average to help provide sustainable and livable wages for their producers.
Lastly, many of our viewers have called in outraged about recent videos of dairy farmers dumping massive quantities of milk when they are over quota. How can you justify food waste at this scale?
While I can't say I love the practice, some waste is inevitable when dealing with perishable agricultural products. While Canadian producers dump an estimated 3% of total dairy production each year, Americans likewise dump up to 2.5% of their production. This problem is not specific to quotas, and it's just a reality of what happens during periods where supply outstrips demand. Canada also, as a result of the DSM, produces 14% less dairy per capita, which is significant when you consider that cattle has the highest greenhouse gas impact of any agricultural industry, and dairy even more so than beef cattle. Any waste is bad, but we must consider that the opportunity costs can be just as wasteful.
Thanks, Cam. Your answers definitely highlight the multifaceted nature of the DSM system. This is a great example of why we need MPs to interpret these complex issues on our behalf. As the case for Canada's supply management system continues to evolve, viewers should keep a lookout for the revised NAFTA review in 2026, where the United States will continue to push for changes whether or not Bill C-282 becomes law.